The CFL conducted its annual evaluation camp this weekend, and although there wasn't really a dominant storyline, there were a couple of things certainly that caught my interest. The first thing was probably Ben Heenan. He's the first overall projected pick. He was pretty much as advertised, tested very well in some of the physical testing elements, interviewed with all 8 teams. The other guy I think that sort of caught my eye was Shimon Chambers, the receiver from Laurier. He put up the fastest 40-yard dash time. He's a guy that could potentially be someone the Ticats would be interested in come draft day. Guy that can back up Andy Fantuz and Dave Stala, provide some youth and depth in that receiving core that's looking very strong. Speaking of Fantuz, he was here on Sunday checking out the receivers and the DBs, played at Western obviously, and still follows the CAIS very closely, so was interested in coming and just checking things out. For the Ticats, a huge contingent of Ticat brass here, the entire front office, as well as all of the coaching staff, as far as I can tell. Obviously, being just down the road, it's easier to come here than it would be for teams out west, for example. But a huge contingent of Ticat brass here checking everything out. One of the interesting elements of what the Ticats did this year is they employed a sports psychologist to do some of their interviews of players that were conducted on Saturday. So I'll have a bit more about that in the spec tomorrow, but interesting to see the Ticats using a sports psychologist to do some of their vetting process for their eCamp prospects. So certainly a very interesting weekend. This is one of those weekends in the CFL I think that's quite important to the game, given the importance of Canadian talent, but doesn't necessarily get the kind of ink and exposure that maybe it should. A little bit like the Canadian draft, but certainly each and every year it seems to get more and more interest and more interesting, frankly, with the level of talent that's here and the level of interest that it seems to be generating. So a good weekend, and make sure you check out the Scratching Post blog and the Spectator tomorrow for a full report from Varsity Arena in Toronto. I'm Drew Edwards with the Hamilton Spectator.